What's going on? Wrestling vs. family. Solo Sikoa just crossed a line that no one saw coming. He launched a vicious, bone-chilling attack on the legendary Paul Heyman. This isn't just about violence, this is about family, betrayal, and the future of the bloodline. You're not going to believe what went down. Before we break down every single detail of this shocking moment, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications because Wrestling vs. CC is your home for the most in-depth wrestling analysis on YouTube. Drop a like if you're as shocked as we are, and comment below, was Solo justified, or did he just make the biggest mistake of his career? Let's dive in. Alright, let's rewind and set the stage for what might be the most shocking attack we've seen in months. Solo Sikoa, the self-proclaimed enforcer of the bloodline, has been on an absolute warpath lately. Ever since Roman Reigns took a step back from weekly television, Solo has been trying to cement himself as the leader, the alpha, the one true powerhouse of the Anoa'i family legacy. But here's the thing. Paul Heyman has always been the voice, the strategist, the special counsel who turned Roman Reigns into the longest reigning Universal Champion in WWE history. Heyman is the brains behind the operation, the man who whispers in the tribal chief's ear, the architect of the bloodline's dominance. And Solo Sikoa just put his hands on him. Let me paint you the picture. The tension has been building for weeks. Solo has been making decisions without consulting Paul Heyman. He's been bringing in new allies, changing the structure of the bloodline, and acting like he's the one in charge. Heyman, being the master manipulator that he is, has been trying to navigate this power struggle carefully, playing both sides, trying to maintain control. But last SmackDown, everything exploded. Paul Heyman was in the ring, doing what he does best, cutting a promo, hyping up the legacy of the bloodline, and talking about Roman Reigns' inevitable return. The crowd was hanging on every word. Heyman had that microphone glued to his hand, delivering line after line with that signature intensity we've all come to love and respect. And then Solo Sikoa's music hit. The arena went silent. You could feel the tension in the air. Solo walked down that ramp with purpose, with fury in his eyes, with an intensity that told everyone watching, something bad is about to happen. He slid into the ring, and Paul Heyman immediately tried to talk him down. Classic Heyman, right? Using his words, trying to smooth things over, trying to maintain peace. But Solo wasn't having it. In one of the most shocking moments of the year, Solo Sikoa struck Paul Heyman with a devastating superkick that sent the special counsel crashing to the mat. The crowd gasped. Commentators were speechless. And Solo wasn't done. He grabbed Heyman by the collar, lifted him up, and delivered a brutal Samoan spike that left Paul Heyman motionless in the center of the ring. Medical staff rushed to the scene. Security tried to intervene, but Solo stood over Heyman's body, staring down at him with cold, calculated eyes, sending a message to everyone watching. The bloodline is his now. And anyone who stands in his way, even the legendary Paul Heyman, will be dealt with accordingly. This attack represents so much more than just violence, wrestling vs. family. This is about power. This is about legacy. This is about a young lion trying to establish himself in a pride that's been dominated by Roman Reigns for years. Let's talk about Solo's perspective for a moment. He's been in the bloodline's shadow his entire WWE career. He's the youngest brother, the enforcer, the muscle, but he's never been the focal point. While Roman gets all the glory, all the championship opportunities, all the spotlight, Solo has been doing the dirty work in the background. Now, with Roman away, Solo sees this as his moment. His time to step up, his opportunity to prove that he doesn't need the tribal chief to be successful. And Paul Heyman. In Solo's eyes, Heyman represents the old guard, the old way of doing things, the constant reminder that he's always going to be second to Roman Reigns. So Solo did what he felt he had to do. He eliminated the problem. He sent a message not just to Paul Heyman, but to Roman Reigns, to the entire WWE locker room, and to the WWE Universe. Solo Sikoa is done playing second fiddle. Solo Sikoa is done taking orders. Solo Sikoa is the bloodline now. But here's where things get really interesting. What does this mean for Roman Reigns? The tribal chief has been away from television, but you know he's watching. You know he's seeing what Solo is doing to his legacy, to his family, to his special counsel. Roman Reigns doesn't tolerate disrespect. Roman Reigns doesn't allow insubordination. And Roman Reigns certainly doesn't let anyone put their hands on Paul Heyman without consequences. This attack sets up what could be the most explosive family feud in WWE history. Imagine it. Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns. Brother versus brother. The new generation versus the established champion. The student challenging the master. The enforcer trying to overthrow the tribal chief. WrestleMania is on the horizon, and this feels like the kind of storyline that could headline the biggest event of the year. The Bloodline has been the most dominant faction in modern WWE history, and now it's tearing itself apart from the inside. That's compelling television. That's the kind of storytelling that creates legendary moments. Let's talk about Paul Heyman's condition and what this means for him moving forward. Reports are coming in that Heyman suffered significant injuries from the attack. We're talking about a man who's in his late 50s, who's not a wrestler, who's made a career out of being a talker and a strategist, and he just took two of the most devastating moves in Solo Sikoa's arsenal. The superkick alone would be enough to put most people down for the count. But the Samoan spike, that's Solo's finishing move. That's the strike that's put away some of the toughest competitors in WWE. The fact that he used it on Paul Heyman shows just how serious Solo is about making a statement. Medical updates suggest that Heyman might be out of action for several weeks. WWE officials are reportedly furious about what happened. There's talk of suspensions, fines, and serious consequences for Solo Sikoa's actions. But here's the reality. Solo doesn't care about fines. He doesn't care about suspensions. He cares about power, respect, and establishing himself as the alpha of the bloodline. And in his mind, attacking Paul Heyman was worth whatever punishment WWE wants to throw at him. The WWE universe is split right down the middle on this one. Social media has been absolutely on fire since this attack went down. Let me break down the different perspectives fans are taking. First, you've got Team Heyman, the fans who are outraged by what Solo did. These are the people who respect Paul Heyman's legendary career, who appreciate everything he's done for the bloodline, and who believe that attacking a non-wrestler crosses a line that should never be crossed. They're calling for Solo to be punished, suspended, or even fired for his actions. Then you've got Team Solo, the fans who see this as a necessary evolution of the bloodline. They argue that Solo has been held back for too long, that Paul Heyman has been manipulating the family for his own benefit, and that Solo needed to make a bold statement to establish himself as a legitimate main event player. They're praising Solo for having the guts to do what needed to be done. And finally, there's Team Roman, the fans who are just waiting for the tribal chief to return and restore order. They see this as a storyline that's building to an inevitable confrontation between Solo and Roman, and they can't wait to see how Roman Reigns responds to his younger brother's betrayal. Personally, I think this is brilliant storytelling. WWE has created a situation where there's no clear right or wrong answer. Solo's motivations make sense. Heyman's position makes sense. And when Roman returns, his response will make sense. That's what great wrestling storytelling looks like. Complex characters with understandable motivations creating conflict that feels real and emotionally resonant. So where does the bloodline go from here? Let me give you some possible scenarios that could play out over the next few weeks and months. Scenario 1. Roman's reckoning. Roman Reigns returns to SmackDown in the next few weeks, furious about what Solo did to Paul Heyman. He confronts Solo in the ring, and we get an absolutely explosive verbal confrontation that sets up a match at the next major pay-per-view. This could be a straightforward story of the tribal chief putting his rebellious brother in his place. Scenario 2. The Civil War. Solo doesn't back down when Roman returns. Instead, he doubles down on his actions and claims that he's the real leader of the bloodline now. This splits the family down the middle, with some members siding with Roman and others siding with Solo. We get a full-scale bloodline civil war with multiple matches and feuds spinning out from this central conflict. Scenario 3. Heyman's revenge. Don't count out the special counsel just yet. Paul Heyman has been in this business for decades. He's survived wars, betrayals, and attacks before. What if Heyman uses this attack as fuel to orchestrate the most devastating revenge plot in WWE history? He could manipulate the entire situation from behind the scenes, turning the bloodline against Solo and destroying everything Solo has tried to build. Scenario 4. The new bloodline. Here's the wildcard scenario. What if Solo's attack on Heyman is actually supported by some members of the bloodline? What if there's been growing resentment toward Roman's leadership, and Solo just became the voice of that rebellion? This could lead to a complete restructuring of the bloodline with Solo at the helm and a new vision for the family's future. Any of these scenarios would be incredible television, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if WWE combines elements from all of them to create something even more complex and engaging. Let's also talk about the broader implications for SmackDown and WWE as a whole. The Bloodline has been the centerpiece of WWE programming for years. They've main evented WrestleManias, held championships, and dominated storylines across multiple brands. An internal conflict of this magnitude affects everyone in WWE. Other superstars are going to want to take advantage of this chaos. If the Bloodline is at war with itself, that creates opportunities for people who've been held down or intimidated by their dominance. We could see challengers emerge, new rivalries develop, and a complete shift in the SmackDown power structure. Championship pictures could change overnight. Tag team divisions could be reshuffled. The entire landscape of WWE could look completely different in a few months because of what Solo Sikoa did to Paul Heyman. That's the power of a well-executed angle. One moment of violence creates ripples that affect the entire company. That's storytelling at its finest. Wrestling vs. family. We just witnessed something that's going to be talked about for years. Solo Sikoa's brutal attack on Paul Heyman isn't just a shocking moment. It's the beginning of what could be the most important storyline in WWE's immediate future. The bloodline is broken. Family bonds have been shattered. And when Roman Reigns returns, all hell is going to break loose. What do you think happens next? Is Solo a visionary taking control of his destiny, or did he just make a career-ending mistake? Will Paul Heyman recover and seek revenge? And how will Roman Reigns respond to this ultimate act of disrespect? Drop all your thoughts, predictions, and reactions in the comments below. Hit that like button if you want to see more deep dive analysis like this, and subscribe to Wrestling vs. CC so you never miss a moment of the best wrestling content on YouTube. Thank you for watching Wrestling vs. Family. This is going to be one wild ride, and I'll be here breaking down every twist and turn. Stay passionate, stay loud, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, acknowledge the chaos, because the bloodline will never be the same. Peace out.